podcast where it's our mission to help you all beautiful people out there make some more money. Today on the show, I'm talking to my new friend, Katie Fortunato. Katie is the co founder and EVP of Platform Innovation and Strategy at Hire Innovations. She's fixing a broken talent acquisition system through proprietary human centric AI platform that challenges the industry's reliance on bots, phantom job posts, and ghosting that frustrate millions, including myself as a business owner. She helps entrepreneurs and Fortune 500 companies turn dispositioned applicants into a new way to make money and connect with Gen Z and millennial talent where they live, which is on social media. She previously led brand experiences and business development for iconic companies, including MTV, AOL, and the Wall Street Journal, where she built the publication's first brand experience and live video practice. So she's been in and around the creator space for a very long time and kind of marrying the traditional media space to the social media space. So if anybody can speak into this, I believe Katie might be that person. Katie, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Travis. And that's right. And thanks so much for including me on your roster of other speakers as well, because there's some very amazing names that you've gotten to speak to and are certainly doing this making money thing look very easy, but it's not.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. You're very welcomed here, and there's a good reason for it, which is the content creation space is something obviously that I talk about. Probably too much. Probably people who are sick of hearing me say it. But you know what? Gary Vee's been preaching the same message for like 17 years or like 20 years or something like that. And he has not been wrong yet in when it comes to the content space. So, Katie, I want to real quick before we dive into some of the back end, some of the backstory here. Tell me real quick what you guys are working on right now that gives creators more of an opportunity to monetize at the moment.
So we're launching a new company. It's the ShopMy of job content, or what ShopMy did for consumer products and lifestyle brands is what we're doing for the jobs industry.
Okay.
And it's an affiliate marketing platform. Creators join, they have access to our exclusive job network, and they monetize when they share our links with their followers. So this is for the brand, creator, YouTuber who has an audience who is actively looking for a new job, and is a also a great way of earning a new revenue stream if you're a content creator.
Yeah. So, can you explain a little bit more by that? So, tell us just quickly the monetization strategy behind like talent acquisition in general and how that can relate to somebody listening, putting money in their pocket.
Yeah, well, we're creating a new category. So in the affiliate world for a creator, you haven't been able to monetize job content until now. And many content creators are already creating work content and posting get ready with me, talking about a day in the life, and talking about layoffs and how hard it is to find a job. So creators are already doing it, and now
Mhm.
we just give them a way to monetize, but more so is like helping their community who is in this position of fearing for their job. AI is coming, layoffs are happening every day. Now they can like really support and offer something that's high value for their audience.
So the creator then basically sends a link to a job board essentially, and
No.
then okay, all right. So walk me through the
Yeah.
process.
So,
Like, yeah,
okay. So,
so yeah.
step one, you're a creator. Actually, Travis, you could do this for your newsletter and community even too. If you know that they are people looking for jobs or looking for side hustles or gigs, you would curate some jobs that you think would be relevant to them. And where we get the jobs from is we work with employers and we work directly with the employer's career pages. So we're
Mm,
vetting the jobs. We have, human verified process that it's a real job and a real employer that has real intent to hire and find a job and fill the job with a candidate. And how do we know that is because these are employers who are actively invested in promoting the jobs. So our community and network of jobs is exclusive. It's you have to be invited into the platform in order to access it, because what we're looking for is quality type of engagement. So you, Travis, would have your own commission link tracked to you. You'd post it in your newsletter. Your readers would click, they would apply, and you would earn a commission for that apply. We're not tracking things like did they get the job, or
got
we're
it.
not paying on
Okay.
just clicks. Like we're really focused on like helping people connect to the job.
Got it. Okay. So when they apply, and this is an application to the platform to be accepted into this like platform of candidates, not necessarily, we're not talking about applying for a job. We're talking about applying to be a part of the platform where then you can place them in a job or career.
It's actually the platform is, like, we're inviting creators like you'd be a
Mhm.
qualified creator, you're somebody who has a following and a trusted audience, and that's mostly what we're looking for,
Okay.
and so you would have access to the platform the same way you have access to your LTK or your ShopMy or
Okay.
your other affiliate network where you're getting affiliate links.
Great.
So as a creator, you're accessing these job links to post as content to your audience.
Now, are these any and all jobs, any and all positions? Is this like a certain level or tier of positions? Is it a certain industry? Is it tech? Is it something else forward? Is it sort of whatever you want?
Well, what's interesting happening in the job market right now is there are a lot of people who say they can't find a job.
Mhm.
And the thing is, the jobs are there. They might not be the jobs that they want, but they are there. And what jobs we're looking at is about like 70% of the market doesn't post their job on LinkedIn or Indeed. The reason why is because it's not a good experience or they're not getting the qualified applicants
You're
coming
just
in
getting
through
a
those
bunch of
channels.
work is really what you're getting. You stick a
Totally.
job out there and it's like, "Oh, we got 732 applicants. Well, okay, now what do we do?" You know?
Absolutely, it's and you're a business founder, you've been through that, it takes you more time to filter and weed through those 700 people.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, like, we call referral-based hiring, but about 65% of people who get hired on average are from the internal employee network.
Yeah.
So, we're basically democratizing access to referrals, and anybody can refer anyone to a job.
Mm.
And you, as the creator, you're curating a list of brands that you can say to your audience, like, these are great brands. This is American Express. This is Victoria's Secret. This is Bloomingdale's. And, those are brands we all recognize, know, and trust. So,
Yeah.
and they trust you. Um, Travis, you also asked, like, what kind of jobs are they?
Yeah.
So here's what's happening with the job market. There are not very many white collar jobs or desk jobs. There are tons of healthcare jobs, and that's nursing positions, radiology, mental health, travel nursing. I'm sure, like right now, we're recording on February 2nd, there's a huge national nurses strike that's going on. If you start looking at the job boards, you can see that the payout to fill those positions with nurses who have walked has like doubled. So anyone who's a travel nurse right now is getting targeted to come and fill some of those hospitals where the nurses aren't showing up for work.
Yeah.
So, healthcare is one of those industries that is, we always see it at a level constant of hiring. And think about it like it is the greatest area of need. Our health is wealth. And,
Yeah.
we're all growing older. Life's getting more complicated. We need good quality caregivers. So healthcare is pretty good. We see growth in IT and ops positions. And if you're interested in what's happening there, we're hearing about AI. And it's leaders of companies and founders like yourself going to their techiest person at the company, who's usually someone at the intersection of IT and ops, and saying, how do we incorporate AI into our business? So that's why you see those jobs taking off. And then I guess the other side of the market is anything you can't replace with AI. So we're particularly interested in focusing on those. And that provides some, future resistancy, and they are AI resistant jobs, I would say.
Are there any sort of is there an uptick in the demand for sort of this marriage between independent creators and now more like classical roles inside of a company to be a creator within the company? Is that something that you guys are seeing yet?
Oh, absolutely we are. There's the the emergence of creators is this is obviously a channel that brands can no longer afford to ignore.
Correct.
And it's a channel that brands have to figure out. And the best place to start is with your own internal employees, not only from a consumer point of view, from a hiring point of view. So you might have your employees talking about the latest retail campaign, or you've got a, Cyber Monday and you get that Slack message from the boss, like, everybody post this to your channels. It works for employees and hiring as well. So I think what we're seeing is one side of our business that's growing is the direct to brand creator network growth. And that's where we're going into a brand and saying, hey, we're going to turn all of your employees into your own referral network. We're going to compensate them, incentivize them in ways that they feel rewarded and valued for their network. And you're going to get that 65% of referral hires. We're going to see that jump. We don't know what it is yet because we're still, experimenting with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, companies can't ignore this channel anymore. And that's where we fit in is like working with the hiring teams.
And that's the smart way to do it. There's been several times where there's like companies that try to do something like this with me, and it was just never enough to like you said, to make it worth infiltrating my own network. It's like you gotta
Mhm.
bring the heat if you want me to go, you know what I mean? Like, actively take time away from all the other stuff that I do to, like, go talk to somebody personally who I know that might be a fit for this unique thing that you got going on. It's like, you better incentivize that, because there's sometimes where it's like, it blows my mind because I know what these exact companies are paying their recruiting firm.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, they're paying them this massive, like, 30 to 40% of first year salary, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars in some scenarios. And then their, like, internal employee referral program is like, "Get $500 for introducing us to somebody who gets hired here." It's like, $500? What happened to the 35 grand that you were gonna pay that firm? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking to match that or whatever, obviously, because 'cause they're really, really, really good at this, and they have a ton of systems and processes. They have networks and all this other stuff. But, like, there's gotta be some sort of, like, a middle ground here where it actually makes sense for your employees to go out and fight for you in their internal networks, which is also where a lot of the great talent is going to come from. Just it seems like there's a massive gray area there that you guys are seemingly helping fill.
I think that's exactly right, Travis. Like in your experience, what is the hardest thing about hiring? Is it the time spent and not like, or in your words, I guess?
Uh, it is the training that's required afterwards. If you get somebody who is like getting just getting to the interview is already like a difficult process because like I mentioned earlier, you might have 700 applicants. All we do immediately is say send in a video to get the next step, and it immediately weeds out like 95% of those people. It's like 700 people apply for the job, well 37 of them are going to send you a video, so like, and then we go from that to then interview to then, and but then once you get them in the door, it's like now we got to go through training, and then we have like a probationary period, and then it's like if we don't get you up to speed quick enough, then you're out the door pretty much as soon as you came in the door, and now we got to go replace you with somebody else. So it's the confidence that we're gaining of somebody who we're not going to have to like burn and turn immediately. Like, how do we get somebody doing this that we have confidence is going to be a strong employee who's eager to learn, get trained quickly, get up to speed, and actually stick around for a while?
And would you say if you had a referral, like, is that usually a better hire, stickier hire, and they stay longer?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because we have the ability to tell the people that are working for us exactly what we expect, and they know the exact process because they've been through it. So it's more likely that person's going to stick around because they might share some of those similar characteristics to the person who's getting hired. And then there's the person who's making the recommendation also feels like a personal sense of almost responsibility or agency for the person that they brought in, where they take a little bit more ownership over making sure that person's trained up and ready to go because their performance is going to reflect on them, whether it's good or bad.
Well, all of this makes sense and is exactly like what the data says too. But, it also starts with having an amazing place to work that people want to keep showing up to and want to talk about. And I
Mm,
think companies are really struggling with that part right now. We call it employer brand in the talent acquisition space.
okay.
But what is your value proposition to your employees that would make them want to go and tell all their friends about how much they love coming to work?
Mm.
And if you're a founder who has any say, well, actually, you have 100% say in what happens at your brand and at your company and what culture you want to create. I think that's where really the hard work is. Once they think companies crack that, they will attract the candidates that they want to see and that would vibe well with the company. Um,
What have you
so
found? What have you found to be some of those sticky characteristics of a good company brand?
comes down to culture, how people feel. There's an emotion, socio-emotional um, thing that you have to create and cultivate at a company, and that's the unique, what are the unique characteristics of the company. So there's that side. Then there's also like the more tactical, tangible things like, is your pay fair? Is it competitive? And even just communicating that you've considered that is sometimes all you need to do.
Hmm.
And for people to feel that they're valued and appreciated, usually money, it comes down to money. And then the other things that we're seeing right now in some of these harder to fill jobs, they don't even start with the job description, they start with the benefits and the perks. And they'll say, you get free products. Like for, Macy's is actually one of our clients. They work to fill those makeup counters. And I think they start with all of the things that you get as a benefit of belonging to the company before we even get to the skills required for the role.
Hmm.
Things like job training, things like, and like if you're looking for a place to learn some skill on the job, like you should be able to find that information on your site. And knowing that when you go to work, somebody is going to ensure your success for the first 90 days and make sure you're set up on the path that you're meant to. Um, and I'm mentioning that for you also because it does require an investment of the business, and you need someone to manage those programs. You need somebody to iterate and to keep up with the business objectives. So that, and then I think one thing new that we're seeing is like Gen Z in particular are very socially conscientious and they're looking to see what is the impact of this company. I will tell you that I've even lost out on hires because I think it's implied with our platform. We are helping people find work. We are helping people connect to economic opportunity. And they chose a very similar job in a tangential market where it was about, instead of monetizing, donating. So I was like, well, that is interesting. We're not communicating the right impact and value proposition to even people who want to come work here. And also, that person and I are still very much in touch. And like, it's great. It was a lesson for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like we are an impact company. Why are we not saying that right at the out front?
Right, right. It's the perception of the value that the employee is going to add to society around them.
Absolutely, and also, what is this company taking a role societally and helping? And we see companies doing that in different ways. There's like, the B Corp companies, there's cleaning up the oceans, there's you find what works for your culture.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really more of just flipping the question around instead of saying like, "What does this employee do for us?" It's what do we do for this employee?
And that, yes, of course.
Yeah,
Um, People wanna feel like they're part of something bigger, and, the most responsible brands and leaders that we see, they get involved with policy. They get involved with lobbying for what's right, and that is also very important to people when they're considering, "Where am I gonna go and work? Do I align
mm.
with these values?"
Is there like I don't know, sort of maybe an exercise or something that as a founder that you would recommend somebody doing to I find more often than not the values of a company are just stuff that they can throw on a whiteboard in a meeting or plaster in the hallway, but it's not it's rare anyway, at least in my experience, that a company actually embodies the values that they say that they live by, if that makes sense. Is that related to the idea that they didn't really think them through that much? They just kind of like said, you know, integrity and then put a picture of a lion or something. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of throwing stuff out there or like what is the reason that we're not seeing these values adopted or actually permeated throughout the culture? And how can we as a founder do the necessary exercise to be like, look, these are the things that really, really matter here. And they are not just stuff that we put on a poster. They are intertwined into the DNA of how we run this organization.
So it starts with the top down. The founder has to live it, breathe it, invent it, communicate it, repeat it, and hold people accountable, because you're right, it gets lost. And you can't outsource the culture
Hmm.
ever. Like, it's got to come from the top down. I don't know if you feel that way, but I've also learned this lesson in another aspect with AI, where asking the whole team to figure out AI. It figured out when I started, and I vibe coded our entire new platform. And,
Hmm.
then I handed it off to the prototype that my founder product brain created to a proper product specialist.
Sure.
But I had to learn, and I dug in and I did the research and I put in the work. And then I was able to help the entire top down part of the organization figure out, what does this mean on each department and level? And like, what are we looking for? And what are the expectations we're setting and goals that we want the team to meet around it? That all started with me,
Yeah.
just as an example. So it's the same thing with your employees. And then I'd say, if you're anybody who has a team and you haven't done a survey, it's something to do quarterly. Company people want to see that you're making progress as well. And one of our sister companies like has all this kind of like employee internal, like anonymous, surveying. You don't have to use a fancy tool. You can use your Google if you're in the G Suite, or anything, Notion. But the important thing is to make it anonymous so that everyone feels safe. Otherwise, you're not going to get real results. So just like you do with your consumer strategy, you listen to the customers, you listen to your people, because you can't run your company without your people.
Katie, this has been an awesome conversation. Love the um I love the commentary, the cultural commentary that you're bringing into this, because you're not just like building a product for the sake of increasing your profit margin in the business. You're building a product that actually helps solve multiple problems for multiple people in the industry. So thank you for leading the way and showing us what's possible. Where can people go to connect more with you? Maybe jump onto your platform and get started working with you guys.
Sure. Well, we'll give you a unique URL, Travis, and any of your followers who want to join will join at no cost or anything like that, and direct them. But getjobstream.com is where anyone can go and see more information about, how do you qualify and how do you get started as a creator.
Perfect. Getjobstream.com. Go check out Katie Fortunato, wherever you like to follow people on social, and listen to some of the stuff that she's putting out there. Katie, thanks so much for taking the time. I appreciate you. Everybody else that's listening, first off, if you are an entrepreneur or founder listening and you are curious what a podcast could potentially do for your business, you want to launch your own network exploding brand building podcast, we're doing a little bit of coaching, travischappell.com/coaching. You can go over there to fill out an application, see what it looked like for my team to coach you to get your podcast into existence. And remember, money only solves your money problems. So let's go ahead and start with the money problem here on the show, because everything gets a little bit easier after that. Here on the Travis Makes Money podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out.